And we are live. You're watching the Detective Diaries. I'm your host, Greg Lawson. This is the broadcast where I bring in people I meet along my paranormal journey. And the qualification to that is either they have to be interesting or very strange, one of the two. So a couple of days ago, I had Andrea Perrin on of the inspiration for the Conjuring movie. We talked about everything from ghosts to aliens to just life, and it was a really fun time. Today we're going to have psychic medium Dakota Lawrence on. He's going to come on and talk to us about our hidden world and life and love, and we're just going to have an open conversation about stuff. Next week I'm going to have Kim Valles on, and she does not want to come on. She does not think that she has anything to add to the show, and she is really messed up. Wait till you see her artwork. She's never done anything like this, and so I was like, you have to get your artwork out there. It's mandatory in the paranormal. So we're gonna have Kim on next week, and right now, let me bring in Dakota.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Thanks a lot for coming on and talking with me.
So I have one question.
Yes.
So you said that you bring in people that are interesting or strange. Which one do I fall into?
Yeah, you meet both of them.
Yes, that was the answer I was hoping for.
You checked both boxes right there, man.
Good. That was my goal.
Yeah, I modified it yesterday day before yesterday for Andrea. I said, strange and interesting and beautiful and amazing. I think I kind of did the little,
Well, I mean, your wife did say I was really cute. I'm just going to remind you of that.
She what?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was talking to this guy.
I know, right? That was back during the Psychic Kid days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then gravity found me and I found food.
Well,
happens.
a lot of people probably don't know what psychics go through, what psychics do, what they, how it all works and everything. And that's something that's always interested me is, I think inherently, everybody has, intuition or gut instinct or whatever that you're maybe born with. And
Yes.
you, of course, learn things in your life that makes you have instinct about business or about safety or something like that. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that parents do and grandparents do is they tell kids there's no such thing as ghosts. Oh, there's not, they diminish and kind of suppress people's vision.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously did not get suppressed.
No. I was very fortunate to be raised in an intuitive household. So this whole world of the metaphysical, the spiritual, the paranormal, cryptozoology, UFOs, all of that was so normal for me that I always say that because of my upbringing, I got a huge advantage to being so young to get in this field. I started reading professionally at 15 years old and I'm 33 now.
Right.
So I was really, really lucky for that. But going into the whole psychic realm, people want to title everything. And I think that's a big society-based thing now, is that we want everything to fit into a very neat box. Right. And it's, you're a medium, you're a clairvoyant, you're a clairaudient, you're an empath, you're this, you're that. Psychic ability at the end of the day, all it really is as far as the sixth sense goes, and let's just look at it from the sixth sense aspect, is a sensitivity to energy. And that sensitivity to energy means that you're able to perceive how energy is happening around a person, and also how is that person, may they be living or deceased, is being able to perceive and pick up on that energy.
Right. So we met about 8 years ago?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while.
It was at the Phantom Fest. Jackie Milligan put it on in San Antonio, right?
I think that was 2012 or 2013.
Yeah.
Because we knew each other through Facebook before.
Right.
And then that was our first show we did together. Yeah.
That was so much fun that I mean the gallery, or not the gallery, when all of us got up there to talk, what am I thinking?
The group panel.
Yeah, the panel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. When we did the panel, it was you and me and Dave Schrader. And
oh God,
was it Jeff Belanger? I think maybe Jeff was there.
I think so. Or no,
Jeff's always here with me.
I know. It was either Jeff. I think it was Jeff was there, and then so was Merch, Ouija guy.
Yeah, yeah. But that panel that we did was so much fun.
That was awesome. And then I had my buddy Steve Santini and Kayville Sochet. They had come in for it, and Steve has the largest medieval torture collection in the U.S. in the North America. It's not the largest in the world. It's the largest. I think his is like the second or third in the world. So he had all of his torture pieces there. And then Kevin, talking about K-Bill, he's one of the large Titanic collectors. So I had all my little weird friends over there, and then I went and did that panel. And that panel was very... What I remember of it was that I definitely was showing myself in true Dakota fashion. So, which I don't have a problem
good
with
though, man. It was
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Jackie put on a good deal.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Jackie Milligan is also doing like small trips to Europe. She's doing some really cool stuff. She'll rent a castle out for an entire week and then bring about 10, 12, 15 people there. And they just stay in the castle and just do paranormal investigation and kind of wander around the countryside and everything. So I'm thinking about trying to go with her sometime next year.
We should do that one together. We should just hit her up and be like, "Hey, we want to." It
would be awesome. No. It would be a lot of fun. I want to go back to Ireland. I really do. Yeah. But
I want to go there. I want to go to London.
Yeah,
really bad London, Egypt. Those are probably my top two.
Yeah. So you brought me in on several Para-Unity, and you brought me into Jefferson. And so we've got to do a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of different things.
Yeah. And if I don't do dinner with you, you get really mad at me.
That's right. That's right. So do you do any paranormal investigations anymore?
I do. Okay. I've never hidden my opinion. I think that's why we've always gotten along. I cannot stand group investigations because you're always going to have that one person that doesn't shut the hell up. You're always going to have that one person that's suddenly the world's greatest psychic ever. And people and my big thing is just shut the hell up. And that's my biggest thing. So I will not do public investigations because I'll admit it. I don't have the patience for it. Right. So if you ever see me doing one, know that I got a really big check, which is the only reason why I would do one, because everybody has a price. So whenever you see me headlining an investigation, you're like, oh, Coda's getting paid for this one, because I just don't have the patience. As far as doing private home cases, I still do those. As time permits, I still do them. Yeah.
Now, large group investigations, I think, are good for maybe people that haven't ever done one before. And they can kind of go in, and then there's people sharing different ideas and bringing in different equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, it can get a little overwhelming.
I'm like, no. My thing is, and that's like, and I work with Dark Hollows Paranormal, and you've met them. Yeah. And we've done a few venues together, and I'll go in there, I'll do my psychic read on the location, and then I leave. And that's all I'll do, because it's for the investigation aspect. I like it. Like for me, having a group of 4 people investigating together is like the perfect number, or having, maybe even 5. But once you get beyond that, you just go with the noise issues, evidence contamination, people not wanting to be quiet. It's just, I can't do it.
Right.
I can't. But like you said, having the group investigations, I think it's great for an on-site tutorial. And it should be considered that, like, oh, this is what Dakota does. This is what Greg does. This is what,
right.
And that would be great for like an on-site lesson. but you can't really call it an investigation.
Right. So for those of you who have tuned in, you're watching Detective Diaries. I am your host, Greg Lawson. We're talking with Dakota Lawrence, psychic medium, clairvoyant, paranormal investigator, all around cool guy. Here's you. Bam.
Oh God, that was back in,
It looks like you're in court.
2009 in Chicago.
Are you in court?
No, I was
like
getting
a hearing?
interviewed. No, no, it looks like that. Holy crap! No, that was at an event in Chicago back in 2009, and that interview was for, I think it was Support Supernatural. I think it's crazy how I can remember all that stuff, and I can't tell you what I had for lunch.
Yeah, people ask me about events I've been to. Oh, you remember that event? And I'm like, yeah, I don't remember. There's so much stuff goes on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Those of you that are watching, you can go down in the comments, and if you put where you're from, where you're listening from, that would be great. Also, if you would like and share this broadcast, it would help me out greatly. We're talking with Dakota. And so, I'll ask you that. So how did you get into this? Okay, no. So my most impactful metaphysical experience was when I was up in Alaska. I was like 19, 20 years old, something like that. And I was at a location where a massacre had happened. The Russians had come in and killed a bunch of the indigenous Alaskans at that point.
Okay.
The Aleut people that were up there. And I spent some time right there. It's called Refuge Rock, where the massacre happened. And I can't explain the feeling that I got. I can't explain it. Is being a psychic, is being a clairvoyant,
mm-hmm.
Is it something like that? I mean, is it like a vision in front of you? There's the person.
I mean, and for me, more often than not, it's the feeling of the energy. It's the knowing of the presence. When I choose to tap into that energy, then that's when the information will come to me and that kind of thing. You know, people always ask me, well, what was it like growing up psychic? What was it like being in this energy or doing this or doing that? And I always want to give a good answer to that question, but I can't, because truly, like I said, this was literally how I was raised, you know, so I can't really, for you to say, oh, well, what does it feel like to not do this? And I'm like, okay, what does it feel like to not know how to walk? You know, and that's literally what it's like for me. It's just like walking. It's so second nature, you know. And I remember us talking about the Alaska story and that kind of thing like that. You know, when I go into places, you know, like that, and when I go into areas that have such a mass amount of grief or death or something like that, it is vastly different. You know, I was actually in, and I really shouldn't share the story right now, but hey, controversy is good for ratings. I was actually in Tulsa where the Black Wall Street massacre happened. I didn't realize that I was there because I'm just like, oh, no. And I was having a friend show me around in Tulsa. And then when we went to that area, and it was actually, I think it was 35 or 37 city blocks that were demolished. So, I mean, we're talking a very large area, and it was over, I think it was like 10,000 people were dishomed there. And it was few hundred deaths, almost 1,000 injuries, really tragic part of our nation's history. And when I was in that area, I didn't know where I was, but I just got this overwhelming sense of just hopelessness and giving up, and then just grief and just the smell of burning. And I could physically smell everything burning. I could smell like singed hair, and I could smell all that kind of thing like that. I'm like, what the hell happened here? And she looked at me, she's like, you don't know where you're at? I'm like, Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the plains. No. But she's like, you're where, you know, the Black Wall Street massacre happened. And I mean, and this was a while back. And I had heard of it, but I was still from the time period of school to where we didn't learn about that tragic thing that happened in history.
Sure.
Because I'm getting old now. I'm having a hard time with this. But, and of course, I did individual research on my own and actually found out about it. So, like, when I go into an area like that, and that was one of the ones that I remember so vividly, was because I wasn't looking for it when it happened. Normally, when I'm in that situation, I know going in, Dakota, you have to go and do this. You have to go and do this. You have to go and do that. But just driving around and then going into an area that was that overwhelming was just insane.
Yeah. I like I said, things have happened in my life where it's like, coincidental, synchronicity, deja vu, whatever. But yeah, there's something different about, at least my experience.
The way I describe it to people is like if you have a wall that's painted blue and suddenly there's a red splotch of paint on it. You know it's there, but you know it doesn't belong.
Gotcha.
And intuition sticks out like that.
Okay.
So some of the people, it feels differently, and that's
right.
I know it sounds dumb to say it, but when you have it, you're like, oh, whoa, this does feel different.
So we got. I think we have a winner as far as the furthest away from where we are. Kat Ward is listening from Australia, and she owes me a beer. So there we go.
Yeah.
And
I've got a few friends that live in Australia, and I would love to go to Australia.
Kim Baez is going to be on next week. She's listening from New Braunfels. And let's see, Karen from Conroe. Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
She's awesome. Let's see, Bridget.
Oh, my hometown.
Yeah.
Hey, girl. I know.
Hey, got another Louisiana.
Yeah.
Who else we got? We got
Louisiana's representing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all my people that are here. Oh.
Let's see, Carrie Hull. Yeah. So she gave me this shirt. I don't know if you can see it.
What is it? I got I'm like trying to I got a rock.
Yeah. It's the old Charlie Brown shirt. Remember he'd cut all the holes. Yeah.
I got this in New Orleans.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, psychic kids.
Okay.
What did you try out for that? Did they contact you? How did that work?
I ended up doing it was up there at the Brumder Mansion was when they shot everything up there with me, and that was with Michelle Griffin. I'm on air, so there's certain aspects of the story that I'll omit. But I will say it was a very interesting shoot. It was a very interesting interview, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to have done those interviews.
Nice. Okay. So there. Let's move on then. But you've done a lot of other TV. You've done a lot of other TV though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing I ever did was actually working with ABC on The Gates. Because I had actually kind of helped with the history and some of the folklore and all of that. And then I was actually shooting my pilot for MTV at the time. And I wasn't supposed to be on TV. Like, I wasn't supposed to do anything on television.
Right.
And then my friend Terry came to me, and she was like head of the costume department. And she says, because of course I'm going to be best friend with the costume department because some stereotypes are true. And
what would that be?
That all gays love wardrobe, and we do. It's true. You have to do the little hair flip there, like it's true. But all joking aside, she goes, "Hey, I'm going to put you on the show," and I'm like, "Hey, no, you're not." And then we ended up shooting in Deja Vu, which is the local, which is the best strip club of Shreveport. But I'm going to say that sentence again. It's the best strip club of Shreveport. So there's still totally track marks.
Yeah.
And in that, and then I actually ended up selling my character. Let me specify that one. Ended up selling cocaine, buying cocaine, and then giving the lead vampires the address to my drug dealers to go and kill them to get their kid.
That's
but exciting. that was literally the most. I mean, I've done the paranormal thing and everything else like that, but I actually enjoyed that shoot the most. I did.
Cool. What was this one?
That was the Psychic Kids interviews with Michelle Griffin.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I was going through some stuff. I'm like, man, I need to find some pictures, and I couldn't. I didn't know if that was the Psychic Kids or what it was.
Mm-hmm. That was those interviews at Brumder Mansion. Yeah. And that was also the 9/11 interviews too. Yeah.
Okay. How did that all?
I got offered a check.
Yeah, but I mean, how did it all culminate? I mean, what?
They called me. I got offered a check. I got on the plane. I did it. I got my check. I got back on the plane and went home.
Was it stressful?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, and you've got to think. I always say that I work in Hollywood for my sanity job. So I'm used to doing the talent booking and convention appearances with a lot of actors and everything else like that. So for me, filming in that whole world is no different than doing this. Like you and I talking right now, technically we're filming each other right now. Right. It's not stressful to me. The only thing I have to be mindful of is when I'm on camera is not to cuss too bad. Which is a big worry.
If any of you have ever, any of you watching have ever gone to a gallery with Dakota, he's behaving himself.
Oh yeah, this is very good for me. Yeah, 100% good for me. Well, I mean, and the thing is for me is that I've been to other readers' shows, and and some are very well-known figures in the community and everything else like that. And I'll leave the gallery feeling worse than when I went in.
Yeah.
Because it's just so morose and just so many dead grandmas and dead dads and dead moms and just death and sadness and grief. And I'm like, you know what? I want my show to cover that, but I want everybody to have an experience. So I have always strived to make my shows be extremely authentic, extremely raw, uncensored, and fun. Because people will understand you a lot better than saying, oh, well, I feel like your husband's just spiritually off center. When I'm like, no, he's a douchebag. He's not spiritually off center. He's an ass. You knew he was an ass when you married him. Why are you coming to see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I know
you've seen enough live shows now. You know how it
is. Yeah. I've been in several of your galleries. And what a lot of people don't get, I think, is from the religious side of it. Mm-hmm. It seems to me some of the things that I've heard conversations that you've had with people in the gallery, did so much better than going to a religious figure. The advice that you give, the comfort that you give, like you said, the environment that you're able to create, really.
Here's my, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step over you. Go ahead. Okay, me go.
Yeah, go.
Me go. Okay. For me, it's that I was raised Episcopalian. I have a lot of religious heritage, a lot of bloodlines to Judaism, everything else. That for me, I look at people the same way. Is that I'm not going to go up there and preach in a gallery, because what if I have somebody in that show, if I'm talking about Jesus, that's Jewish or that's Muslim or that is Hindu or is Buddhist, or we can list 50,000 different religions that are out there. I think there is over 50,000 different religions. Probably. That for me, this is me. I always try to help people connect back to themselves and their loved ones at a soul level. Does religion and belief sometimes enter into those topics? 100%.
Sure.
But I'll never force my beliefs onto someone else. And I expect that same respect back from people. But I've had people tell me that, I started going back to church after I came to your show because you helped me get rid of my anger towards God, or you helped me get rid of my anger towards this or that. And that to me is why I do this. I mean, I'm not, stupid wealthy from this career. I'm comfortable, but I'm damn sure can't afford my mansion that I want in New Orleans. It's all those things like that. But for me, I always want to hold a sacred space for someone that has no judgment, I don't expect you to be here or to be here or to be down here. I want you just to be. And I think that that's what we're losing in society now, is that we expect people to be at all the same level. And that's simply not going to work. That's simply not going to happen. And it's just saying, hey, this is where you are. Cool. I accept you. Now, what can I help you with?
Yeah. And I've seen the worry, the stress actually leave people when you are talking with them. I've witnessed that happen. You can see a physical change in them. And that's, I think that's something miraculous.
Well, thank you. And the one thing that I always, when you first came to one of the first shows, and then, because you're an open-minded skeptic, and I'm going to call you out for what you are,
Yeah.
And my favorite part was, and I think Lynn brought it up to me, or I brought it up to you, I'm not sure how it went down, but whenever I do a reading, and you caught me doing this, because you went in there trying to be the detective, you totally did. And you were like, he's going to be reading their body language. He's going to be doing open-ended questions. He's going to be doing all this and that. And then you watched me do the show. And I think either you or Lynn one that says you won't look at the people when you read for them. And I'm like, no, I won't. And you're like, well, and I said, because I don't want to read their body language. Because you're going to naturally be able to tell somebody, you got shit wrong. Or if they start crying, you're going to know I need to say this further. Is I don't want to read their body language. And it's actually more distracting for me to look at a client like this than it is to read for a client and have the information. I'm looking over here, let's say, just off camera. It's easier for me to connect to spirit, connect to that energy and that kind of thing. And I'll never forget, because I think, like I said, it was so many years ago. I don't know if it was you or Lynn that brought it up. You're like, well, then how do you do it? Because my rules in the gallery are give me your name, your person's name, and their connection, and then shut up. And the next line that I use is one that I've said for years now that'll never change is, I'm not a therapist. I can't fix this for you. So don't tell me your life story.
And that's the amazing thing. And I've heard you say that multiple times.
It's my go-to line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the comedy in my show gets recycled. I won't lie. Some of the jokes do get recycled.
Yeah. You put out the information that you get from wherever, and you provide that for them, and you tell them, this is your life. You need to put this puzzle together. You need to, it's going to be okay.
It's going to, and that's my big thing, is that I hate when I say, and I use the term reader very loosely, where someone will sit there and talk for 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's not psychic reading. And I think you've been to enough shows now where and I finally say, I've got a show to do and I'm in here for an hour. Get to your question. Right. And it's not that I'm being an ass. Well, I am kind of being an ass. But it's more that when someone does that to me, I get super, super mad, because then I don't go in there with the clear channel, because I have all their bullcrap they've said to me.
Right. They've set you up.
It's come to me with the question, what's your question, or who do you want to connect to? And then that's it. Because when I'm able to go in like that, that's when the messages are clear. And I also believe that's when it's more impactful for the person, is when I pick up the different vibrations and this going on and that going on. Then they know, holy crap, this is real. This person, dad's still with me, or mom's still with me, or whoever's still with me. That way they know that they're still around, versus, my dad passed away 2.5 years ago from a heart attack. He held our family together, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, then what the hell do you have me here for? Right. You just told me everything. And I think that it's important that us as readers, we are here to guide. We're not here to take over. So when I give that information, when I channel that energy, when I do that thing like that, and I'm doing my work per se, I'm like, okay, here's what's coming forward. Here's what I'm getting. Here's what I feel like I need to tell you about this. And then I give it to them. And if there's a place for me to talk about, for me, my platform's always been mental health awareness, and always will be. Mental health awareness is number one, because I've been open about my own struggles and everything else, that I'll share my own personal stories and this and that. But I can't take, let's just say, for example, if you came to me hurting with something, I'll sit down with you, we'll do a reading, and I'll give you the steps to take. But if I took you by the hand and said, okay, we're going to go do this, we're going to go do this, we're going to go do that, we're going to go do that, that's a disservice to you. I will give someone the keys to open the door, but it's up to them to open that door. And I think that that's where you see the true growth from, is giving them that key and saying, here, now go open it.
Now, when you're doing this with somebody and you're tuning into their energy, is it something separate from like the energy to, let's say, a deceased loved one? Is there like two different channels there, or is it kind of all the same thing?
Picture AM, FM radio. It'd be like, let me just use two stations here in town. It'd be like if you're on 95.7 for crappy boyfriends, 96.5 for dead dads. So it's a different channel,
right?
But it's not that, they're not that far in the little spectrometer of psychic.
So it's the crappy boyfriend and the dead dad or grandma. Okay, got it. I'm there. I'm ready to go.
And I mean, I don't mean it sarcastically.
No. That's
when we talk about, and that's my big thing, is I want to destigmatize death. And people are always like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about death." I'm like, we have to talk about this.
It's everywhere.
We have to. You know, and that's it. I take my work very, very seriously, but I also openly embrace the death aspects, to where I'll talk about, well, what was today like? It was a bunch of dead grandmas. And it's not from a place of disrespect. It's not from a place of anything like that. It's that this is what it is. We have to be honest. We have to be raw. We have to be real. You know, to where every client that I come in contact with, when I connect to their lost loved one, or I'm helping guide them through their next phase of their life, I take that part very, very seriously. I don't take myself serious.
In my opinion, that works. What you're doing works.
Thank you.
Hey,
you sat through enough shows by now. If you didn't like them, you quit sitting through them.
No, exactly. So we're 32 minutes into it. Let's take a look at some of these comments over here.
Crap.
God, we got people from Wichita, Kansas. We got who else we got? Oh, we got this guy. I went to high school with that guy. I haven't seen him in 30 something years. Well, I guess we went to a reunion one time. Hi, Delvin, man. It's good to see you, dude. So let me see here. There's a whole bunch of stuff that people are writing on here that they've heard in your gallery, which I am not going to put up because this is a family show. What are y'all doing?
You brought me on a family show.
So Dakota's always direct, but always delivers a message and encourages people rather than alienates people. And I think that's huge. I've seen in your shows.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let's see. Oh, wait, Aaron Kirkman. Like, for me, hey, favorite open-minded skeptic.
Oh, right? Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree with him on that one. I do.
So those of you who are watching, if you want to write in some questions for Dakota, you can do that. You can just go down to the comments, write in a question, make it short so I can read it. Can't be real long. Just really short question.
Greg's used to dealing with short things, guys. Don't change it up for him.
See, there we go.
I had to let the Dakota Lawrence out a little bit. I had to bring the little bitch out.
Well,
I did.
At least you know.
Unfortunately, I do see all.
You can, if you can like and share this broadcast, it would be super awesome. So we talked about investigations, that you'll do private investigations, but you'd rather not do the group thing. See, of the investigations that I've done for people that have asked me to do it, my rule is it's just me. I get your place for 24 hours and it's just me.
Yeah.
And you got to leave. There's too much stuff going on that's trying to talk you into something.
100%.
Yeah. And so do you make it down to New Orleans to do any of that stuff?
I did New Orleans for a few years. Believe it or not, the problem with doing events in New Orleans is that I have to get my clients and my people that follow my career. I won't use the fan word because that just weirds me out. to come to New Orleans to see one of those shows, because in New Orleans, it's so second nature. They don't give a shit who you are.
Right. Right.
So I mean, it's just so normal. It's just
Yeah.
so part. I mean, and that I've told about it is, that's my retirement city. That is where I will retire. Is because the weird is just normal.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it there. That is my sacred city. It is.
Yeah, Lynn and I usually go about once a year. Obviously, this year I don't guess we're going. Do you have a lot of events that are canceled?
I was booked solid for March, April, May. The summertime's always slow for me. So I was booked solid for those 3 months. I taught a psychic development class here in Shreveport the first weekend of March. Then I had a 3-day show in Sam's Town in Las Vegas. And we made it through 2 days. And then Vegas shut down on me.
Yeah.
Which was fun. That is one place that you don't want. That when you see Vegas start to shut down, you're like, okay, this is bad. This is really bad.
Wait, but you got out on an airplane? You got out of there?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I got out of there. My flight, I got a flight out of there Monday morning at like 6:15 a.m. Because I'm going to get the heck out of Dodge. Because when all that was going down, I'm like, hey, what if they ground, non-essential travel? Or what if this happens, or what if that happens? So I was able to get out. What was so weird was, from flying out of Vegas that early in the morning, the airport is usually always kind of busy, but I literally was looking for Moses to have the stick to be parting the Red Sea, because it was so many people just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. It was so weird to see. It really was. It was so friggin' weird.
Yeah,
I
knew a few people that got kind of stuck in there, and some people that got stuck in Reno and ended up actually buying an RV to drive home because they didn't want to stay in any hotel.
That was the thing, is that normally I wouldn't. Oh, kitty! You gotta love my ADD. It's just like, oh, kitty.
Yeah. Well, he wants everybody to see him because he's crying and he won't shut up. So.
Oh yeah, he's the king of the house.
This is Frank. Frank's a good boy. He's a feral, and he turned into the best cat ever. Oh. He's a good boy. It took about a year. He was a crazy man. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's
you just got to gain their trust. That's all there is.
No.
But normally I wouldn't mind being stuck in Vegas, but that weekend I'm like, I'm going home.
Speaking of gaining trust and animals. What do you think about animal spirits?
They exist. Yes.
Elaborate.
I think that, I'm a big believer that everything that is alive has a soul. Everything does. Everything has a soul level energy. Do animals have it? Yes. I also believe in the omens of animals as well. We can historically look back at even the black cat of the White House. And every time the cat's shown up, the president's died. Yeah. So I've gone, and for me, I think that animals are at a different level than human entities. I think they're more of a sign aspect when they're coming back to visit us than just having a spirit that is there in your home.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, mm-hmm. and nothing else has a spirit, just people. Mm-hmm. And man, I have made eye contact with animals, and there's more to them than just mm-hmm. that. Oh, yeah. So,
and to me, it's people can believe what they want to believe. And that's what I've always said, is that you can believe what you want to believe, but when you die, you're going to find out how wrong you are.
Right.
And they can't argue with me. Like, well, you're going to be wrong too. I'm like, well, maybe I am. But what if you are? And I'm like, okay, thanks.
Megan asked, how do you handle giving bad news? Like if you're doing a reading and you find out something bad mm-hmm. That this person you're doing the reading for doesn't know about.
Yes.
Is there like an ethical boundary where you go, you know what? They're better off not knowing this. I'm not going to say anything, or what?
No,
Okay.
because the future is never written in stone. That's the one thing that I hate with my profession. And I'm going to use the word hate because I truly do hate it. Like hate's a strong word, but like exactly that's why I'm using it. Is that when you sit down with me and I see A, B, C, D happening, that does not mean without a doubt that it's going to happen. That simply means that as the path that you're on now, this is what's going to transpire. That's why my readings my readings gear more towards that soul level aspect of what do you need to work on? What is holding you back? How do you release? How do you heal? How can you grow to be the best person? Kind of thing. I mean, you've seen that enough times in my show, Greg, that you can attest to that. So when it comes to giving bad news, number one, I don't believe in bad news. Is that everything that happens to us, may it be losing a parent, losing a sibling, may it be a relationship going away, all of those things people look at as bad. I personally don't look at them as bad because those moments of complete tragedy are where the best lessons come from.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
And I think that it's important that it's, to me, it's like losing a parent. Yes, that's going to be a crappy experience for a person to go through. But if I see someone's, I do not believe that any of us can predict death. I have had clients of mine that have come in with stage 1 cancer. Doctor said, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And they killed over no time. And then I've had clients that have come in there to me with stage 4. And they're like, okay, I just want to know how everything's going to go down, if everything's going to be all right. And those are tough readings. And then I'm like, I don't feel your force going away. And then they're still walking around fine 15 years later. And I do believe that whatever higher power you believe in, when our numbers up, our numbers up. And you can't change that. So why focus on, oh, I'm going to die in 6 years, 7 months, and 13 days because Dakota told me so. No, screw that. I'm not going to do that. But if I saw a bad car accident, I'm like, look, you need to be careful of this. Or if I saw something not working out the way a person wants to, I believe that delivering that bad news can either circumvent that event from happening, or it's better to be forewarned and forearmed.
Yeah. And that's a very, like I said, that's an ethical way to address that kind of stuff.
I think it's more unethical not to say something.
We talked in the beginning. I said that, typically parents, they don't mean to hurt you, but they tell you things like there's no such thing as ghosts and stuff like that. So they kind of suppress anybody who is actually clairvoyant or psychic or whatever. But as I said before, I believe that we can learn things and we can expand our mind and do things. Leslie's asking, when are your classes coming online? And pet that kitty, and I did. Thanks. Thanks.
I'm about to say, which one of mine? Because mine are all off camera over there, just staring me down. I'm like, oh my god, I've got a tough audience over there. I'm just getting mean mugged.
So when are your classes coming online?
I was going to do it a couple weeks ago. Right now, my obstacle, and I admit my own faults, is I'm trying to find the way that I want to teach it best because I'm such a hands-on person that it's hard for me to get, especially in a teaching aspect. I want to be like, okay, try it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it that way. That right now I'm working on a couple of different topics. So then that way when I announce them, I can say, okay, I'm going to be doing this one, 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 and have a list of things coming up. But for me, I'm actually kind of trying it out now, is to go and find what's going to be the best way for me to teach online, but not lose that personal touch that is so vital for me and who I am. So I want to say by July or August, when I really feel like I've got it, because I was going to do it 3 weeks ago, and then I sat down. I'm like, okay, this is not. And for me, it's my name and my brand.
Right.
Essentially, I've always taken that part of it very, very seriously. And for me, I don't feel like it's up to my standards of the work I want to give to someone.
Right.
And so, plus, I'm extremely critical.
Kat has a question. As a psychic medium and an investigator, do you find it difficult to integrate the spiritual and the scientific? Thanks, Kat.
That's a great question, Kat. I don't. And here's the reason why. is that science at one point was based on mysticism and was based on trial and error and that kind of thing. Is that for me, when I first got started, and it's still to this day, I'm not going to say something is paranormal when I first start out with it. I'm not going to go and say, yes, this is paranormal. Yes, this is a ghost. Yes, this is that. I'm going to try to find a reason as to why it's happening before I rule it being something paranormal at first. And I think that it's very, very important to go in there with kind of both spectrums, of both the scientific and the spiritual, to really be able to do the full work. To where if I'm feeling a female presence in the corner, but I hear it banging behind me, I'm going to figure out, okay, is this banging her, or is it so there's a water table somewhere, in the vent system that's making that noise, or what's happening here or what's happening there, to where I think that it's very, very important, and something that I've always strived for is to disprove anything physical before we rule it something paranormal. And I'm the first one to say, Greg, if you and I teamed up and did, an investigation of a home together and I went in there, I would say, okay, Lynn can stay because I love your wife. She's my favorite. But I would want you not to be there. And then I would go in there and do my thing, walk through, see what I pick up, see all those things like that. And then I wouldn't want you to have that information. Then I would want you to go in there and do your scientific aspect. And then at the end of it, let's compare notes. Let's give Lynn what I have her write down what I picked up, then she keeps it away, and then she writes down what all you did. And then let's compare and contrast and see where did the spirit meet the science. Because I think that's what we have to do, is that, it's just slowly getting to that point.
Yeah. Karen asked, let's see, do I use any psychic when I investigate? So a lot of people think about, they think because I say I'm a scientific materialist, that I have all these gadgets and everything. I use audio, digital recorders. I use analog recorders. I use digital and analog video, and that's it. I don't have any special gadgets or anything like that. If I'm using an EMF detector or something like that, it's to eliminate the electrical currents in the walls and stuff like that, because, it creates some anomalies. And a lot of people think, well, it's grandma here talking to you. And it's like, no, that's the ballast in that, that fluorescent light up there. So I try to not use too much of the gadgetry, but absolutely rely on a good psychic. I think that's key, because I'm kind of reaching out there a little bit, but I think we already have the equipment to figure this stuff out. I think we were born with it. I think it's inherent in our spirit or our mind or whatever. We just have been so accustomed to tune it out that we're not good at it anymore. I don't know. But
so I'm still curious what the comments were in the chat that you wouldn't read about. You got to tell me what those were later.
No, it wasn't bad. Just they said it was very entertaining. So
it's a unique show.
There's a whole bunch of people out there. Becky can't wait for the class. So once you do it, I think you're probably going to get some.
And that's the one thing is that I for years avoided teaching. And now that I've done it, I love it so much. And that's something that I never would have thought I would have enjoyed.
You can
but then I really
grow, right?
Well, you get to watch your students grow, but it's for me, I realize how many years I've put into this now. I always said I'm an old queen doing this now.
I didn't have that picture of you with your tiara on.
Oh, you have one of those?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know.
Okay. But it's for me now, it's getting to share what I've gotten to learn, is getting to share all that aspect of my work now, that I'm to the point now to where I'd rather give it to somebody else. Not that I'm about to go and retire or go and check out, but I've gotten to the point now that I feel like the only way we as a society can grow and the only way that we can shift and change is for us to shut the hell up and listen to one another and to teach one another.
Right.
So that's kind of where I've gotten to.
I agree with that. And I know that you take your advice from very reputable, individuals there. Is that your child? What is that?
That is Baby Yoda.
And I'm assuming you get
was
some of your wisdom from Yoda.
No, that was actually at an event that I went to, and one of the guys that was on Face Off actually made it, and I almost bought it.
Really?
But then I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. But I wanted to buy it so bad.
He looks pretty cool. He looks pretty.
He's really authentic. It was really close to the screen used. Yeah, but I'm like, no, Dakota, don't do it.
Sorry. Leela, is that how you pronounce her name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
Dakota's classes are top notch. So you're doing some in person, are you?
Well, I used to. Yeah. Before the great COVID.
Yeah.
No, but I did teach here in Shreveport. So yeah, and then Leela was actually, she's actually come to some of my classes too. And then I've known her son Trent. He just turned 21, and she can answer this one in the chat one. But I've known him since he was a baby. And then I was in New Orleans actually going to see Cher, and then we met up with her in New Orleans too. It's just crazy to watch. I mean, it's kind of weird for me is that I've got so many clients that have become friends now. And, because when you see somebody for 5, 10, 15 years, it's watching their kids grow up. And people are like, oh, Dakota, you're 33. You're so young. I'm like, yeah, but y'all got to think. I was traveling the country at 18,
Right.
And I've been doing it for so long that I feel like I'm in my 50s now. I really do feel like I'm in my 50s. But it's, for me, the hardest part that I've had to go and let go of is the kids that when I meet them, like when their mom or dad comes in and they're sitting in the car waiting and they're coming in for their session. Well, then I meet them at 8 years old. Well, then the next thing I know, they're graduating high school. And I'm like, no, they're 8. How did that happen? And like when I meet one of my clients' kids, like I meet them at their age. And then in Coda world, they never get past that age. And like now they're off in college. And I'm just like, huh? Yeah.
So what do you have coming up? Do you have anything scheduled? I mean,
don't make me feel like a washed up bitch there, Greg. Thanks. Yeah. Since this worldwide pandemic, what do you have coming up? Well, I'm going to probably go and, after this, I'm probably going to go and watch some Netflix and go smoke a cigarette, eat some dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, TV dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you forget that there's like this whole pandemic that happened?
Well, no. Don't you have a Comic-Con coming up?
No, we got canceled for those too.
It did go.
My next event out is I'm hoping to start back in-person readings here in Shreveport. We're looking at August, late July or August for that. And then October is when I'm actually going to go back out as far as traveling. I'll be in Austin the first weekend. And then I know I'm going to be in Dallas the 23rd. I'll be at Soultopia the 23rd to the 25th. And then I'm going to be
Soultopia is, what's the date again?
The 23rd to the 25th, I believe. October. Everything right now is October. And then I will be in Socorro, New Mexico at the Valverde Hotel Halloween weekend. And that's, of course, the one weekend I won't work. And then I got the offer and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it because we had a pandemic.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, and for me right now, it's, I was supposed to go back out the end of this month and it was a hard decision to make, but I talked to the locations that I was going to, and I still had a few events in July and August. And we just came down to the decision that right now to pack a room with 40, 50, 60, 100 people all sitting next to each other watching my show, we're not to that place yet. And that's something that I've said is that, to just go and take your time, give it that time out, give it that break right now, because I don't want to risk somebody getting sick.
Sure. So Melody is like Soultopia? What?
Soultopia is a store. I actually they have 2 stores. They have one in Bishop Arts district there in Dallas, and then they have one in Carrollton, Texas, and their Carrollton, Texas locations where they do all their events. And then you can find out more about them because I love that store. So I always promote them. And they don't pay me for the promotion either, which is why I shouldn't be doing that. Is you can go and check them out at soultopia.guru. And that has their website and everything else. And sorry, I have my kitty sneezing in the background.
That's what I was like, is somebody using a sprayer? It sounded like...
No, it's literally the cat sneezing.
Hey, so where can people find you? Where can they find you online? Where can they connect with you?
DakotaLawrence.com. And then I'm on Instagram, but I really never update Instagram because I literally will, especially since the pandemic, like, here's my Twitter. But Facebook, which is facebook.com/visions by Dakota, or just searching Dakota Lawrence, or DakotaLawrence.com. I used to be on Twitter, but I had to get off of Twitter a while back because I will admit I have too big of a mouth and I'm too opinionated. And when I can go and cuss somebody out directly.
Really?
And I don't want to destroy my client base. I wouldn't cuss them out. People that they like, I'd be cussing out.
Hey, do you have a Vimeo account?
Yeah.
If somebody just wanted to go in and tip you, you can go.
No, I wouldn't take that. No.
Yeah, you wouldn't? Mm-mm. Maybe you could do a reading or something. Who knows?
Yeah. But no, I wouldn't do that. No.
All right.
I'm weird about that kind of thing. I know. I am who I am. Whatever.
So, let me look at. Well, let's see. Oh, Lynn said that she had gotten one of your medicine bags a few years ago.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
People love it when I make those. My fans do not, because that's people don't. And that's that when I have a client that goes and gets one of my bags, is that they realize then that it's entirely handmade by me, and I don't go and get the stuff from China. So literally the entire thing is completely hand sewn. And it's gotten to the point now that I started making those in 2008, I believe. But I started actually really selling them and when I'll go and I'll make a 200 bag run, that I love making them, but I end up looking like Freddy Krueger with my hands all scarred up because I stabbed myself, and then I'll wrap the sinew around my finger and I'll yank it, and then I'll go and I'll cut my hand open, and it's really fun to watch me try to. I'm not that coordinated, but I love making those. I still do it about once a year or every other year now, because it just takes so much time.
We've been on for 57 minutes.
It feels like it's been about 7 hours. This has been the worst interview of my entire career.
That's the way I wanted it to
absolutely hard.
It will never happen again.
No, absolutely not.
Hopefully I'll see you in Jefferson.
Yeah. That one's scheduled. First weekend of November is when that one's scheduled for.
Yeah. And then, so hopefully that will work out. And Lynn and I hopefully will be able to come up and see you in Shreveport and hang out.
Oh, totally. I mean, like I said, for me, I'm playing this all by ear, and, I am okay not having to go back out this year. It's whatever is safest for my clients. And that's the attitude that I've taken. It's not about me. It's not about my, my bank account balance. It's about what's safest for my clients. Yeah. So I'm on the phone a hell of a lot right now. So, that's how you can talk to me right now, is just phone readings. Yeah. But I love it.
Well, thank you so much for being on here and hanging out with me tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry that your show's already hit this bad of a low point to have to bring me on. So
I'll try harder next time. Thanks, man.
It was a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay.
See you later, man. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Bye, bro.
All right. So that was Dakota Lawrence, psychic medium. He was on TV, on all kinds of different shows. And he is a really good guy. If you've never had a psychic reading, if you've never had anything like that, I would definitely recommend you, as long as you can handle the truth and very direct, very direct information and good guidance. I've seen him do really, really great stuff. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you would please like and share this broadcast, it would help me out greatly. If you want to write anything in the comments, I'll get Dakota to go through the comments also, and we'll answer any of your questions that we didn't answer online. This all started with a guy named Jeff Belanger. He is New England Legends, And he has also a Facebook Live called The Speakeasy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Look up Jeff Belanger and look at some of his guests. It's amazing. He's had Josh Gates on there. He's had Dave Schrader on there. Speaking of Dave Schrader's out filming now. He's filming the Halser Files for the Travel Channel. And I'm going to try to sucker him onto coming onto the Detective Diaries, maybe next week, maybe the week after, if I can figure out some blackmail information. Also, Seth Breedlove, if you haven't ever checked out any of his Small Town Monster stuff, I highly recommend him. If anybody knows Aaron Sager, tell Aaron that he needs to come on the Detective Diaries and talk with me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Next week, I'm going to have Kim Valles. She's going to bring a very interesting perspective on the paranormal, and we're going to get to see some really cool visual stuff. So tune in next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Hope to see you then. Thanks, y'all. See you later.